We are live, Didi.
Jai Sapadika Shri Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astatara Siddha Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Astatara Siddha Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class, Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Mitang Stam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Minitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haridas Prabhu, Hariday Prabhu, could you please turn the thing off, maybe?
Yeah, it's too cold?
Yeah, sorry. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jaya Srila Om Vishnupade Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya. So we're now continuing to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the Antya Lila 7th chapter in the first volume of Antya Lila. And this is a conversation between Mahaprabhu and Balavat Bhatta. And Mahaprabhu is continuing to speak. This is verse number 49, which we read already yesterday, but we'll review that. Mahaprabhu is saying, I have learned about the glories of the Lord's holy name from Haridas Thakur. By his mercy, I have understood those glories. And then Mahaprabhu is continuing. Acharya Ratna, Acharya Nidhi Pandita Gadadhar, Jagarananda Damodara Shankara Vakreshwar. Do we have the thing?
We used to have two, now we have one.
Oh, really? Excuse me. Kashishwara Mukunda Vasudeva Murari Arachata Bhakta Gana Gaude Avatari Krishna Nama Prema Kaila Jagate Prachar Iha Sabara Shange Krishna Bhakti Jayamar. Acharya Ratna, Acharya Nidhi, Gadadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, Damodar Shankar, Vakreshwara, Kashishwar, Mukunda Vasudev Murari, and many other devotees have descended in Bengal to preach to everyone the glories of the holy name of Krishna and the value of love for him. I have learned from them the meaning of devotional service to Krishna. Vatera Hridaya Drita Abhimana Jani Bangi Kari Mahaprabhu Kahe Atavani. Knowing that Balabhabhata's heart was full of pride, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke these words, hinting at how one can learn about devotional service. It's also very instructive for us. We can never become proud of anything. Actually, we're not the doer. We can't arrange all these things for ourselves. But somehow or other, through so much help from chiefly our Sri Guru Varga, our Sri Guru Dev, and all the devotees, we are getting some help and some recognition and experience of devotional life. Balabhabata was greatly proud of his knowledge in devotional service, and therefore he wanted to speak about Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without understanding the Lord's position. The Lord therefore hinted in many ways that if Balabhabata wanted to know what devotional service actually is, he would have to learn from all of the devotees he mentioned, beginning with Advaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Ramananda Rai. As Swarup Damodar has said, if one wants to learn the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, one must take lessons from a realized soul. One should not proudly think that one can understand the transcendental loving service of the Lord simply by reading books. One must become a servant of a Vaishnava. As Narottam Das Thakur has confirmed, Charya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Peye Chekeva. One cannot be in a transcendental position unless one very faithfully serves a pure Vaishnava. One must accept a Vaishnava Guru, Adao Gur Vashrayam. And then by questions and answers, one should gradually learn what pure devotional service to Krishna is. And that is the Parampara system. And also by questions of other devotees to whom we're greatly indebted. Questions to our gurus by them have brought out many, many, many wonderful points of Siddhanta that are benefiting everyone. Ami se Vaishnava Bhakti Siddhanta Shabajani, Ami se Bhagavata Artha Uttama Vakani. Balabhabata was thinking, I am a great Vaishnava. Having learned all the conclusions of Vaishnava philosophy, I can understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam and explain it very well. Patara manete e chila dirga garba, prabhura vachana shuni se haila karva. Such pride had existed for a long time within the mind of Balabhabata. But as he heard the preaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his pride was cut down. Prabhura mukhe Vaishnavata shuniya sabara, patera icha haila tan sabare deki bara. When Balabhabata heard from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the pure Vaishnavism of all these devotees, he immediately desired to see them. Patakahe e Shaba Vaishnava rahe konstane, kon prakare paimu iha sabara darshane. Balabhabata said, where do all these Vaishnavas live and how can I see them? Prabhu kahe keha gaude keha da santare, Shaba ashiyache rata yatra deki bare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, although some of them live in Bengal and some in other states, they have all come here to see the Ratha Yatra festival. So they're all here right now. Ihani rahena shabe bashananastane, ihani pai batumi shabara darashane. At present they are all living here. Their residences are in various quarters. Here you will get the audience of them all. Tabe batta kahe bahu binaya bachana, bahu danya kari prabhure kaila nimantrana. Thereafter, with great submission and humility, Balabhabata invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to dine at his home. So you can see the good quality of Balabhabata. He didn't become envious, or he didn't feel an unhappy feeling in hearing about the Vaishnavata of all these great devotees whom Mahaprabhu is describing. But he instead felt a genuine humility coming to him and feeling, oh, I must get their association. Adadina Shaba Vaishnava Prabhustane Aila Shabasane Mahaprabhu Bhate Milaila. The next day, when all the Vaishnavas came to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord introduced Balabhata to them all. Vaishnave rate jadeki bhatera chamatkara tansabara age bhatta kadyota akara. He was surprised to see the brilliance of their faces. Indeed, among them, Balabhata just seemed like a glowworm. They were like so effulgent, and he just seemed like a little bright thing. Tabe bhata bahu mahaprasada anaila ganasaha mahaprabhure bhojana karaila. Then Balabhata brought in a great quantity of Lord Jagannath's Mahaprasadam and sumptuously fed Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. Paramananda Pure Shange Sana Sanyashira Gana Akadike Vaisheshava Karite Bhojana. All the sannyasi associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, headed by Paramananda Puri, sat on one side and thus partook of the prasadam. Advaita Nityananda Rai Parshve Duijana Majje Mahaprabhu Bashila Age Pache Bhaktagana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat in the midst of the devotees. Advaita Acharya and Lord Nityananda each sat on one side of the Lord. The other devotees sat in front of the Lord and behind him. Godera Bhakta Jata Kahite Na Pari Angane Bashila Shabahanya Shari Shari. The devotees from Bengal, whom I'm unable to count, all sat down in lines in the courtyard. Prabhura Bhaktagana Deki Bhattera Chamatkara Pratyeke Shabara Pade Kaila Namaskara. When Balabhata saw all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was greatly surprised, and in devotion he offered his obeisances at the lotus feet of each and every one of them. Swarup Jagarananda Kashishwar Shankara Pariveshana Kare Ar Raghava Damodara. Swarup Damodar, Jagadananda, Kashishwar and Shankar, along with Raghava and Damodar Pandit, took charge of distributing the prasadam. Mahaprasada Ballabha Bhatta Bahu Anaila Prabhu Saha Sannyasi Gana Bhojane Vasila. Balabhata had brought a large quantity of Mahaprasada offered to Lord Jagannath. Thus all the sannyasis sat down to eat with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prasada Paya Vaishnava Gana Bale Hari 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 Dvani Ute Shaba Brahmanandabari. Accepting the prasadam, all the Vaishnavas chanted the holy names Hari Hari. The rising vibration of the holy name of Hari filled the entire universe. Mala Chandana Gurva Kapana Aneka Anila Shaba Puja Kari Bhatta Anandita Haila. When all the Vaishnavas had finished eating, Balabhata brought a large quantity of garlands, sandalwood pulp, spices, and betel. He worshipped the devotees very respectfully and became extremely happy. Ratayatra dine prabhu kirtana arambila purvavatsata sampradaya pratak karila. On the day of the car festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began the congregational chanting. As he had done previously, he divided all the devotees into 7 groups. Advaita Nityananda Haridas Vakreshwara Shrivas Raghava Pandita Garadhara Shatajana Shatatanyi Karena Nartana Haribola Bali Prabhu Karena Brahmana. 7 devotees, Advaita, Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Haridas Thakur, Vakreshwar, Srivas Thakur, Raghava Pandit and Gadadhar Pandit formed the 7 groups and began dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chanting Haribol, wandered from one group to another. Choda Madala Bhaje Ucha Sankirtana Eka Eka Narta Kera Preme Bashila Bhuvana. 14 mridangas resounded with the loud congregational chanting, and in each group was a dancer whose dance of ecstatic love inundated the entire world. So in each of these groups, the 7 devotees, Advaita, Nityananda, Haridas Thakur, Vakreshwar, Srivas Thakur, Raghava Pandit, and Gadadhar, they were in each group, and they were dancing. And then there were the 2 mridanga players in each group. Deki Balaba Bhatera Haila Chamatkara Anande Vivala Nahi Apana Sambala. Seeing all this, Ballabha Bhatta was completely astonished. He was overwhelmed by transcendental bliss and lost himself. Tabe Mahaprabhu Sabara Nritya Rakila Purvavat Apane Nritya Karite Lagila. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped the dancing of the others, and as he had done previously, he personally began to dance. Prabhura Saundarya Dekiyara Premodaya Eta Sakshat Krishna Bhatera Haila Nishchaya. Seeing the beauty of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the awakening of his ecstatic love, Ballabha Bhatta concluded, here is Lord Krishna without a doubt. Attamata Rata Yatra Shakaleda Dekila Prabhura Charitre Bhattera Chamatkara Haila. Thus Ballabha Bhatta witnessed the car festival. He was simply astonished by the characteristics of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're hearing some description about this, but the inner eye of the pure heart, that is the eye which can actually see the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And that kind of chamatkar, that kind of astonishment, that is something very rare. To see that divine form of Mahaprabhu and his divine expression of love, this is not something easily to attain. So, seeing this, Ballabha Bhatta felt overwhelmed. He forgot himself completely. Jatranantare Bhatta Jai Mahaprabhu Stane Prabhu Charane Kichu Kaila Nivedane. One day after the festival was over, Ballabha Bhatta went to the abode of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and submitted a request at the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhagavatera tika kichu kariya chilikana apane Mahaprabhu jadi karena shravana. I've written some commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, he said. Would your lordship kindly hear it? Prabhu kahe Bhagavata arta bhujite pari Bhagavata shunite aminahi adhikari. The Lord replied, I do not understand the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Indeed, I am not a suitable person to hear its meaning. So you're going to describe this meaning, your commentary, but I'm not qualified to understand that. Basi Krishna nama matra karye grahane Shankya nama purna mora nahe ratri dine I simply sit and try to chant the holy name of Krishna, and although I chant it all day and night, I nevertheless cannot complete the chanting of my prescribed number of rounds. Vatakahi Krishna namera arta vyakyane vistara kairachi taha karaha shravane. Bhagavad Bhatta said, I have tried to describe elaborately the meaning of Krishna's holy name. Kindly hear the explanation. So, Bhagavad Bhatta is saying, oh, you want to chant the holy name, but I have actually elaborately explained the meaning of the name. Prabhu kahe Krishna namera bahu artha namani Shama Sundara Jashoda Nandana Ematra Jani. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I do not accept many different meanings for the holy name of Krishna. I know only that Lord Krishna is Shama Sundar and Jashoda Nandana. That is all I know. Okay? In other words, he's rejecting this idea of giving explanations of some meaning of the name of Krishna. And we should heed this. Tamala Shamala Tvishi Shri Jashoda Standaye Krishna Namno Rudiriti Sarva Shastra Vinirnaya. The only purport of the holy name of Krishna is that he is dark blue like the tamal tree and is the son of Mother Yashoda. This is the conclusion of all the revealed scriptures. This is a verse from the Nama Kaumudi. E arta ami matra janiye nirdhara ara sarva arte mora nahi adhikara. I conclusively know these two names, Shamasundar and Jashodanandan. I do not understand any other meanings, nor have I the capacity to understand. You say, oh, I won't be able to understand that. Palgu praya bhatera namadi shabha vyakya Sarvagya Prabhu Jani Tare Karena Upeksha. Being omniscient, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that Bhagavad Bhatta's explanations of Krishna's name and the Srimad Bhagavatam were useless. Therefore, he did not care about them. Vimana Hanya Bhatta Gela Nijagara Prabhu Bishaye Bhakti Kichu Haila Antara. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rigidly declined to hear his explanations, Bhagavad Bhatta went home feeling morose. His faith in the Lord and devotion to him changed. Tabe Bhatta Gela Pandita Gosanyira Tani Nana Mate Prita Kari Kare Ashavatyai. Thereafter Bhagavad Bhatta went to the home of Gadadhar Pandit. He kept coming and going, showing affection in different ways, and thus maintained a relationship with him. Prabhura upekshaya shabanila chalera jana bhattera vyakhyana kichunap kare shravana. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not take Bhagavad Bhatta very seriously, none of the people in Jagannath Puri would hear any of his explanations. Lajita haila bata haila apamane dukita hanya gela panditera stane. Ashamed, insulted, and unhappy, Bhagavad Bhatta went to Gadadhar Pandit. Dainyakari kahe nilum tomara sharana tumi kripakari raka amara jivana. Approaching him with great humility, Bhagavad Bhatta said, I have taken shelter of you, my dear sir. Kindly be merciful to me and save my life. Krishna nama vakya jadi karaha shravana tabe mora lajja panka haya prakshalana. Please hear my explanation of the meaning of Lord Krishna's name. He's saying, save my life. So Bhagavad Bhatta was thinking his life will only be saved if someone will hear his explanation of the names of Krishna. He feels, this is who I am. I've done this thing, and I must have someone hear that. So he was not able to surrender to Mahaprabhu, actually. Krishna Nama Vakya Jari Karaha Shravana Tavimora Lajja Pankahaya Prakshalana. Please hear my explanation of the meaning of Lord Krishna's name, and that way the mud of shame that has come upon me will be washed off. So, I've been thinking about this so much, and I know I mentioned it, but this instruction by Srila Guru Maharaj to save us is super, super centrally important. We will not do anything to attract someone to us. That is a hypocrisy. So Balabhabata was feeling that the prestige of the people was very, very necessary for him, that they will give him some honor. And now he's become dishonored because his explanation of Krishna's name was rejected by Mahaprabhu, who had no interest whatsoever in hearing it. So instead of he wasn't able to surrender to that and say, yes, I understand that I was looking for prestige. He couldn't recognize that. So he's feeling very bad, very humiliated in relation to the world. So how can we explain Krishna's name when, if we have this type of course we're not giving like meanings to the name of Krishna. Krishna is Krishna, that's all. Krishna's name and Krishna are not different from one another. You can't stick a meaning on that. That is actually a mundane thing to do. So here we are, hearing about this, and it is a good lesson for every single one of us. No one should do anything for the sake of attracting someone to them. This will be not genuine. And we won't be giving a genuine thing. It will be contaminated. If we cannot practice Krishna consciousness, how can we influence others about Krishna consciousness? So all these lessons are coming to us, one after another, and we should take all of this very gratefully. So here, Balabhabata is saying to Gadadhar Pandit, you please hear this, and then, I will be able to move in society properly, happily. Shankate Padila Pandita Karaye Sanchaya Ki Karibena Eko Karite Napare Nishaya. Thus Pandit Gosai fell into a dilemma. He was in such doubt that he could not decide alone what to do. Gadadhar Pandit. He felt very compassionate. That's the nature of the devotee. But at the same time, he knew that Mahaprabhu was against this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not take Balabhabata very seriously. Therefore, Pandit Gosai, or Gadadhar Gosai, fell into perplexity. What would be his position if he heard Balabhabata's explanation of Sri Krishna's name? Certainly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be displeased. Therefore Gadadhar Pandit Gosai could not make a decision. Jajapi Pandita Arana Kaila Angikara Patajai Tabupade Kari Balatkara. Although Gadadhar Pandit Gosai did not want to hear it, Balabhabata began to read his explanation with great force. So he was forcing this explanation upon Gadadhar Pandit, though Gadadhar Pandit had not agreed to hear it. Abhijache pandita karite nare nishedana. Eshankate Raka Krishna la ilana sharana. Because Balabhabata was a learned Brahmin, Gadadhar Pandit could not forbid him. Thus he began to think of Lord Krishna. My dear Lord Krishna, he requested, please protect me in this danger. I have taken shelter of you. So there's the etiquette that he's not going to be rude or act in a way to prevent Balabhabata from doing what he wants to do. So he was in a dilemma and took shelter of Krishna. Antarjami Prabhu Jani Bena Moramana Tarebai Nahi Kichu Vishama Taragana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in everyone's heart, and he will certainly know my mind. Therefore I do not fear him. As associates, however, his associates, however, are extremely critical. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in everyone's heart. He's saying, Mahaprabhu, he knows my heart. He knows I'm not going against him in having to sit here while Balabhabata is reciting these explanations. He will not. But those who are the associates of Mahaprabhu, they will not appreciate that. They will think, why has he done this? And they will feel protective about the integrity of Mahaprabhu. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exists in everyone's heart. Therefore, he would know the circumstances under which Pandit Gosai agreed to hear Balabhabata's explanation, and certainly he would not be angry. However, the Vaishnavas who are always with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu might not understand Gadadhar Pandit's inner consciousness, and they might accuse him of having compromised with Balabhabata, despite his being neglected by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar Pandit Gosai was seriously thinking in this way. Are you following that, Haride? Okay, no worries. Jajapi vichare panditera nahi kichu dosh, tatapi prabhuragana tare kare pranaya rosh. Although Gadadhar Pandit Gosai was not in the least at fault, some of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees showed affectionate anger towards him. They all love him and they know his position. But they think, oh, you made a mistake here. Pratyaha Balabhabata Aishe Prabhustane Udgrahadi Praya Kare Acharjadi Sane. Every day Balabhabata would come to the place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to engage in unnecessary arguments with Advaita Acharyas and other great personalities, such as Swarup Damodar. Just putting forth some philosophical argument which was not at all necessary or interesting. Not in the mood of devotion. So the arguments can go on forever. But what is the necessity of them? Sometimes we argue on behalf of devotional. We will have some so-called argument if the person if we're speaking to, is innocent-hearted. They may have a different conception. But if they have some innocence in their nature, then we can present something better. No doubt about that. That is not the kind of argument that's being referred to here. This is just unnecessarily bringing up something that's not at all progressive or anything. Jai Kichukare Bata Siddhanta Stapana Sunite Acharjataha Karena Kandana. Whatever conclusions Balabhabata eagerly presented were refuted by personalities like Advaita Acharya. Acharjadi age bata jabe jabe jai, Rajahangsa majeg jaina rahe baka prai. Whenever Balabhabata entered the society of devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, he was like a duck in the society of swans, of white swans. Actually, we can watch our own tendency. When our pride has been attacked, we can become very foolish and suddenly blah, blah, start talking some kind of nonsense. So, Akadina Bhatta Puchila Acharjere Jiva Prakriti Patikari Manaye Krishnere. One day Ballabha Bhatta said to Advaita Charja, every living entity is female, Prakriti, and considers Krishna her husband, Pati. Pativrata Hanya Patira Nama Nahilai Tomara Krishna Namalaha Kondar Mahai. It is the duty of a chaste wife devoted to her husband not to utter her husband's name. But all of you chant the name of Krishna. How can this be called a religious principle? So now he's the one who's written an explanation of Krishna's name. Is saying nobody should chant Krishna's name. It's unchaste. Because we are all Prakriti. And Krishna is Purusha. So, anyway. Acharya kahe age tomara dharma murtiman. Ihare pucha iha karibena ihara samadan. Advaita Acharya responded, in front of you is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the personification of religious principles. You should ask him, for he will give you the proper answer. Here's the Lord himself. So you ask him. He is what religion is. Shuni Prabhu kahena tumina jana dharma marma. Swami agya pale e pativrata dharma. Hearing this, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, my dear Ballabha Bhatta, you do not know religious principles. Actually, the first duty of a chaste woman is to carry out the order of her husband. Patira agya nirantara taranama laite. Patira agya prativrata napare langite. The order of Krishna is to chant his name incessantly. Therefore, one who is chaste and adherent to the husband, Krishna, must chant the Lord's name, for she cannot deny the husband's order. Ataiva namalai namera palapai, namera pale Krishna pade prema upajai. Following this religious principle, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna always chants the holy name. As a result of this, he gets the fruit of ecstatic love for Krishna. Shunya Balabhabata Haila Nirvachana Gare Jai Mane Duke Karena Chintana. Hearing this, Balabhabata was speechless. He returned home greatly unhappy and began to consider this. So this is the power of Sharanagati. We have so many different kinds of conceptions about who we are and what we are, and Krishna will remove those. But we have to surrender to that. Nitya amara se shabayai kakshapata akadina apare jadihaya morabata sabe shukahaya ara shabala jajai swavachana stapite amiki kari upai. Every day I'm defeated in this assembly. If by chance I am one day victorious, that will be a great source of happiness for me, and all my shame will go away. But what means shall I adopt to establish my statements? He's not thinking, oh man, I have come into the assembly of those who are so great, so great. They're taking time to teach me. But he's thinking, I must establish myself. I must establish myself. This is a very great problem. Adadina Ashiba Shila Prabhure Namaskari Shabate Kahena Kichumane Garbakari. The next day, when he came to the assembly of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sat down after offering obeisance to the Lord and said something with great pride. Bhagavate Swamira Vyakhyana Kairachi Kandana Laitena Paritara Vyakhyana Vachana. In my commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, I have refuted the explanations of Sridhar Swami. I cannot accept his explanations. He's saying, I have found that Sridhar Swami's explanations are wrong. Therefore, I must be very great because I have practically defeated him, really. I've noticed there's some problem. Evyakya karena jaha jai padeyani akavyakyata nahi tate swami nahi mane. Whatever Sridhar Swami reads, he explains according to the circumstances. Therefore, he is inconsistent in his explanations and cannot be accepted as an authority. Prabhu hasi kahe swami na mane jai jana veshyara bitare tare kariye ganana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smilingly replied, one who does not accept the Swami, which means husband, as an authority, I consider a prostitute. Atakahi Mahaprabhu mauna darila shunya sabara mane santosha haila. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very grave. All the devotees present derived great satisfaction from hearing his statement. So he's not saying this in a frivolous way. He's saying it in a very, very grave way. Or not, I don't mean frivolous, but light. He's saying this very strongly. Don't set out to consider yourself greater than the previous acharyas. Jagatera hitalagi gauda avatara antarera abhiman janena tahara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended as an incarnation for the benefit of the entire world. Thus he knew the mind of Balabhabata very well. Nana avagyane bate shodena bhagavan Krishna jaiche kandilena indrera abhiman. By various hints and refutations, Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, corrected Balabhabata exactly as Krishna had cut down the false pride of Indra. Purport: Indra, the king of heaven, was very proud of his position. Therefore, when the residents of Vrindavan decided not to perform the Indra Yagya, but instead to perform the Govardhan Yagya in accordance with the instructions of Krishna, Indra, because of his false pride, wanted to chastise the residents of Vrindavan. Thinking himself extremely powerful, Indra poured incessant rain upon Vrindavan, but Lord Krishna immediately cut down his pride by lifting Govardhan Hill as an umbrella to save the residents of Vrindavan. In this way, Krishna proved Indra's power most insignificant in the presence of his own omnipotence. Agya jiva nijahite ahita karimane Garba churna haile pache ugade nayane. An ignorant living being does not recognize his actual profit. He does not know, in other words, what is good for him. Because of ignorance and material pride, he sometimes considers profit a loss. But when his pride is cut down, he can actually see his true benefit. Gare ashi ratre bhatta chintite lagila purve prayage mora mahakripa kaila. Returning home that night, Balabhabata thought, previously at Prayag, Lord Chaitanya was very kind to me. Swagana sahite mora manila nimantrana ebekene prabhura mote pirige lamana. He accepted my invitation with his other devotees, and he was kind to me. Why has he now changed so much here at Jagannath Puri? Amijiti egarba shunya hauka inharichita Ishwara sabhava karena sabhakarahita. Being very proud of my learning, I'm thinking, let me become victorious. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, is trying to purify me by nullifying this false pride. For a characteristic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that he acts for everyone's welfare. So we cannot become resentful of the environment through which the Lord is acting. The environment is all divine. It is conscious. Guru Maharaj said, the environment is not inanimate. It is animate, and not only animate, but fully conscious. And not only conscious, but sympathetic to me. So we have to become, we don't know what's good for us, but we must understand that what is coming is good for us. And make ourselves soft and pliant and movable. We must be moved. I have created the necessity for my own rectification. That is my fault. And when the rectification comes, it is all done with a great sympathy towards me, with a great sweetness and kindness. If we must start to practice Krishna consciousness, that means that everything is conscious and in a higher position than I am. All around me is Guru. Jai Shishi Guru Gaura Chandra Aju Ki Jai. Guru Maharaj said that is sadhana. Otherwise we're in this kind of crazy position, like this position of what I don't like is bad, and that's the material world. And what I like is good, and that is the spiritual. That's nonsense. We have to become rectified. We don't know what spiritual is. So we're trying to find the divine environment and lovingly enter into that environment as a serving unit, not as a demanding unit. So last night there was some discussion about one of our very good friends. He brought up, the present, how reality is in the present and not going into the past and future. But we cannot find that present until we are entering into eternity. Eternity is the eternal. Eternity is the present. And eternity only exists in devotion. We're not going to be able to attain this any other way by some psychological adjustment. And of course this is what we were discussing and why it was brought up. But what we are doing, we cannot concentrate it as a material thing. For example, if I'm washing the floor, that I'm going to really concentrate on washing the floor. That's not possible. Our mind will always go to the past and the future. It's just the nature of the mind. But when I can understand that there isn't anything material, and that floor is for Krishna, and I am for Krishna, then I can serve along with that floor. We must come into this consciousness, or else we don't know what we're talking about. Nothing is material. My mind and my eye is what is material. Everything is divine. And we're trying to come into the serving atmosphere. And that is eternal. Nime shardakyo va bhajati nahi utrapi samayaha. That plane of Svetadvip, there is no estrangement of past and future. It is the eternal present. And you say, well, no, sometimes the gopis are saying before and when will this happen? That is all in the present. It is all, the time is serving the hearts of those great Vaishnava, those great divine personalities. It is all in the present. Even the past is in the present. It is all in the serving present. So if we want to solve these problems, we're not going to solve a material problem with material solutions. The problem of mundanity must be solved with divinity. We have to change our angle of vision. So when one disciple asked Guru Maharaj, in Navadvip, what will be my service? And Guru Maharaj said, he chuckles and he says, change your angle of vision. Not only here but everywhere. That is always the necessity. That is sadhana, he said. So this is very important for us. We have to stop thinking in this bifurcated way. Everything, reality is everywhere. Reality is what is real. And if I'm not seeing that, then this is my difficulty. There's no difficulty in the environment. Not at all. None. We will see persons who are very demoniac, persons are very evil, we see that. But why is that coming to me? Why is that coming to my purview? Why is that coming to the screen of my consciousness? That can never happen without the approval of Rishikesh. He is the Lord of the senses. Nothing can be perceived without his permission. So why is that coming to me? To purify me. On a deeper level, everything is under the control of the Lord. This is Krishna consciousness. We have to start doing this. Not stay in this childish idea and just go on without changing anything about ourselves. Haribol. So just wanted to continue with this story. Actually, I didn't want to interrupt it because it's really such a wonderful and instructive pastime of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was utilizing everything and giving instruction to the universe. So Balabhabhata's mistake and his difficulty, to follow in the whole development and the whole revelation of how that came out is very, very useful for us, very helpful. And that is Mahaprabhu's mercy. So when we're chanting, we're going out on Harinam and so on, we must actually come into what Harinam is. Otherwise we're just making some sounds, and of course we want to try to do something, but we have to also make some progress. Otherwise, Guru Maharaj said, if you do not understand these principles, then you have misunderstood Krishna consciousness, and you will give the same adulterated thing to others. Haribol. And then Gurudev's coming to present. He's like the personification of these things. He's like the watching this in motion. His very, very existence is Guru Maharaj's heart. But what is that? We have to try to understand these things properly. Haribol, Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Anyway, we're practicing. We're new, we're young, we're not expert. But at least we should know what we're practicing. Haribol.
Before you play music. Play it.
Huh?
Could you please play the Mridanga?
Oh. Jai, Saparika Shishi Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Sati Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astatar Sati Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Shri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Laharidas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Narottam Shamananda Srinivas Thakur Prabhu Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakamat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Ram. Dandavat. Okay. Dandavat to all the devotees, the assembled devotees Ki Jai.
So, Srimati Sri Lekha Devi Dasi Ki Jai.
You don't have to
Ganga
read
Lila
all
Devi
that.
is here.
Ganga Lila, Dandavat.
Divya Shakti Devi is also
Dandavat.
here. And Q.
Good morning, Q.
He says, hope Srimati Sri Lekha Devi is feeling better. Hare Krishna.
Oh.